If you are 80 years old and you can still do this, you might be aging in reverse without even knowing it. Now let me ask you something real. Have you ever felt like your body is slowing down? Maybe your steps are getting shorter. Your energy's not what it used to be, and everything feels just a bit harder. But here is the thing. Despite all that, are you still doing little things that most people your age cannot? Things that would make someone half your age stop and say, "Wait, how are you still doing that?" Because if you are, this video is for you. We are going to walk through 8 powerful signs that your body, your mind, and your spirit are still going strong. And if you recognize even 3 of these in yourself, I want you to do something simple, but powerful. Type the words, "I'm still here," in the comments. Not for me, for you. And for the people out there who might need a reminder that life at 70, 80, even 90 is still worth showing up for. Every single day. Let us dive in. Sign number 1 is something so basic, so overlooked. But it might be the clearest proof you are beating the odds. If you can walk for 30 minutes without needing to stop, rest, or catch your breath, your heart is still strong, your lungs are still doing their job, and your legs have not given up on you. And no, we are not talking about race walking or speed walking. We are talking about steady, consistent movement. Whether it is around the neighborhood, through a grocery store, or just doing laps in the hallway of your home. If you can keep going for half an hour, that says something big about your overall health. Let me tell you about Doris. She is 74, lives in North Carolina. She used to walk only to her mailbox and back. That was it. But one morning, she realized she was not tired, so she kept going. Day by day, she added a few extra minutes. Now, she does the entire neighborhood loop, about 35 minutes, every morning before breakfast. No collapsing, no gasping for air. Just walks in, puts on the kettle, and smiles. Her secret? She never tried to impress anyone. She just never stopped. So here is what I want you to do. If you are still able to walk for 30 minutes without giving in, whether it is fast or slow, whether you are outside or in the hallway, drop the number 1 in the comments. Because that means your body is still moving. Your system is still working. And you are not letting age define your limits. Now, let us keep going. Sign number 2 might surprise you because it is something you probably do every single day without thinking. If you can stand up from a chair, a couch, or even your bed without using your hands, your arms, or pushing off anything, that is not just convenience. That is independence. Because standing up without assistance tells us your legs are still strong, your core is still active, and your balance is still sharp. No fancy equipment, no gym membership, just your own strength doing what it is supposed to do. Let me introduce you to Carl. He is 81, lives in Kansas, and plays chess every weekend at the park. Now, what impressed me was not his chess strategy. It was what happened after. He sat for hours on a bench, then stood up. Smooth, steady, no hands, no wobble. He even stretched like it was nothing. I asked him his secret. He laughed and said, "I do squats while brushing my teeth." Simple habit, big payoff. Because here is the truth. When you can get up on your own from anywhere, you are not just staying strong. You are staying free. You are not waiting for help. You are in control. So if you can do that, even from your kitchen chair, your recliner, or your porch swing, drop the number 2 in the comments. That is your body saying, I have still got this. And next up is sign number 3, one that has nothing to do with your muscles, but everything to do with your mind. If you can remember what happened yesterday, follow a conversation without getting lost, or stay engaged in a story your grandchild is telling. Your mind is still sharp, still connected, and still working with you. You do not have to remember every name or where you left your glasses. That is not the point. This is about staying present, being aware, and keeping that spark in your brain alive. Let me tell you about Elaine. She is 78, lives in Arizona, and calls her grandson every Friday night. He talks about his favorite shows, the latest music, and whatever is happening in his world. Elaine? She listens, remembers, and even follows the plot lines better than he does. One night he said, "Grandma, I forgot what happened, but you remembered." That is not just sweet. It is a sign her brain is still firing on all cylinders. She is tuned in, and that matters more than we sometimes realize. So if you can still enjoy a book, keep up with a TV show, or hold your own in a conversation, drop the number 3 in the comments, because your mind is not fading. It is still alive and well, and that is something to celebrate. Now coming up next is sign number 4, and this one is about something most people do not notice until it is gone. If you can stand on one foot for at least 10 seconds without holding on to anything, that is a sign your balance, coordination, and nervous system are still working together. And let me tell you, this is not a silly challenge. For older adults, balance is everything. It is the difference between walking safely and taking a dangerous fall. It is the difference between confidence and fear. Let me tell you about Don. He is 76, used to be a construction supervisor, walking across beams and scaffolding like it was nothing. These days, when he visits his grandkids, he still gets down on the floor to play and stands back up without flinching. His trick? He brushes his teeth while standing on one foot. He switches halfway through, every day, without fail. He says it is his secret weapon, and it shows. Because balance is not just about avoiding injury. It is about staying in control of your movements. It is about walking across a room without holding the wall. It is about stepping into the shower without hesitation. So, here is your moment. If you can balance on one foot for 10 seconds, drop the number 4 in the comments. It means your body still has coordination. Your brain and muscles are still communicating. And you are not at the mercy of a fall that could change everything. Coming up next, sign number 5. This one is not about muscles or memory. It is about something even deeper. Your reason for waking up in the morning. If you still wake up in the morning with a little spark in your chest, if you look forward to that first cup of coffee, a phone call from your daughter, or just watching the birds outside your window, you are still living fully. Because when the mind starts to fade, or the body starts to break down, that sense of excitement, of wanting to be here, is often the first thing to go. Let me share the story of Frank. He was 81, a retired train conductor from Michigan. Every morning, he sat by his window with a cup of tea, fed the squirrels, listened to jazz, and wrote a letter to his niece. Nothing fancy, but it gave him purpose. It gave him joy. One day he told me, "The moment you stop looking forward to something, that is when you really start to disappear." And he was right. Joy is not about having a perfect day. It is about still having a reason to care, to smile, to show up. So if you still feel that, if there is something, anything, that makes you glad to open your eyes in the morning, type the number 5 in the comments. Because that means your heart is still in it. You are not just surviving, you are living. Now, let us keep going. Sign number 6 is another physical test, but one with deep meaning behind it. You will want to pay attention to this one. If you can stand up from a low chair, your couch, or even the toilet without using your hands or needing someone to help, that is a major sign of independence. This movement is actually used in medical tests to measure how well someone can care for themselves. Why? Because when you lose the ability to rise on your own, it often means other things, like falls, mobility loss, or even full-time care, are not far behind. Let me tell you about Mary Lou. She is 83, barely 5 feet tall, and maybe 100 pounds soaking wet. But when I visited her, she stood up from her deep recliner like it was nothing. No arms, no pushing off, just a steady rise. She told me, "I never want to rely on furniture to get me moving, because one day I might not be able to." That stuck with me. So, if you can still rise up from your sofa, your porch swing, or your bed without grabbing for support, drop the number 6 in the comments. Because that is not just strength. That is freedom. That is dignity. And that is something to hold on to. Up next is sign number 7. Something simple, yet incredibly powerful. Your appetite. If you still feel hunger before a meal, if you still look forward to the smell, the taste, the comfort of a good bite, that is not just about food. That is your body telling you, "I am still in this." Because when something deeper starts to go wrong, physically or emotionally, your appetite is often the first thing to fade. You stop caring. Food becomes a chore instead of a joy. Let me tell you about Nancy. She is 79, lost her husband a few years back, and after that, she just stopped eating. Not completely, but the meals got smaller, the kitchen got quieter, and eventually, she said, "I eat because I have to, not because I want to." Until one day, her neighbor brought over a pot of chicken stew. Simple. Carrots, potatoes, herbs. But something about it reminded her of her husband's Sunday cooking. That meal changed everything. Bit by bit, her appetite returned. And with it, her energy, her smile, her presence. So, if you still enjoy your meals, if you feel that little sense of satisfaction when the food hits the table, I want you to type the number 7 in the comments. Because that means your body is still alive with desire. Your spirit is still reaching for joy. And that is a beautiful thing. Coming up next is sign number 8, and it may just be the most powerful one of all. It has nothing to do with your body and everything to do with the people around you. If people still call you just to talk, if neighbors wave when you walk by, If your grandkids want to sit next to you, if friends still ask for your advice or invite you out for coffee, then you are still radiating life. Because here is the truth. When someone starts to fade, people feel it. They may not mean to pull away, but they do. The energy shifts. The room feels quieter. The person starts to disappear from the rhythm of the world around them. But when your presence still brings light, still brings comfort, still brings joy, you are not fading. You are glowing. Let me tell you about Russell. He was 92, lived in a small Kentucky town. Every Sunday, his front porch was packed. Family, friends, neighbors, all coming by to sit, laugh, and listen to him play the harmonica. One afternoon, someone asked, "Why do people still show up for you?" And he said, "Because I never stopped showing up for them." That stayed with me. So if people still seek you out, if your phone still rings, your porch still fills, your laughter still makes someone else smile, type the number 8 in the comments. Because that is more than a sign of life. That is a sign of connection, of meaning, of soul. And now, as we wrap up, let us pull everything together, because these 8 signs are not just physical abilities. They are proof that you are still here, still living, still shining. So now that you have heard all 8 signs, let me ask you this. How many of them did you recognize in yourself? 3, 5, maybe all 8? If you said yes to even a few of them, you are not just surviving. You are defying the rules of aging. You are living proof that growing older does not mean fading away. It means adapting, staying connected, and still finding joy in the everyday. You do not need to run marathons or lift weights like you did at 20. You just need to keep moving, keep engaging, and keep caring about your body, your mind, and the people around you. And if you are someone caring for an older loved one, I want to leave you with this. Before you look at their medical chart, look for these signs. Look at how they move, how they laugh, how they show up. Because sometimes the best indicators of life are not in test results. They are in the small, human moments we often overlook. So, here is what I want you to do. If this video spoke to you, if it reminded you of your own strength, or made you think of someone you love, do not just keep it to yourself. Share it. Comment. Let someone else know they are not invisible, they are not forgotten, and they are still full of life. Because aging does not erase value, it reveals it. Now, I want to hear from you. How many of these 8 signs are still true in your life? Tell us in the comments, because when you speak up, you remind everyone watching that growing older is not about fading away. It is about living fully, in your own way, every single day. Your age does not define your worth. Your presence still matters. And if you know someone who is feeling alone right now, someone who might need to hear these words, share this video with them. It might be exactly what their heart needs today. Remember, getting older is not the end of living. It is the proof that you have been doing it right